Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Harakakadash, double honor to the apostles and elders of the great most on the rule well, and Shalom to the brothers doing the work, considering truth. Yeah, so you had more or less the, the U.S. Going into a recession, and it's like it's more or less undeniable, but it's the joke is they basically try to switch up what a recession's defined as to avoid calling it recession and saying like, oh, you could be it's a sign we're in a recession, it's a possibility of a recession, but by their own definition it's obviously a recession. So but they know people are gonna start being overwhelmed by fear. Should they become aware? But hey, so it's on CNBC. It says GDP fell 0.9% in the second quarter, the second straight decline. This is what a strong recession signal. So it's not even saying it's a recession, it's saying it's a signal of possibility of a recession, which means they're having a laugh. It says that follows a 1.6% decline in the first quarter, and was worse than Dow Jones' estimate for a gain of 0.3. The drop came from a broad swathe of factors, including decreases in inventories, residential and non-residential investment, and government spending. So it says the U.S. economy contracted for the second straight quarter from April to June, hitting a widely accepted rule of thumb for a recession, the Bureau of Economic Analysis reported Thursday. And yeah, you actually go to the definition of recession in business English. It says a period, usually at least 6 months of low economic activity, when investments lose value, businesses fail, and unemployment rises. So yeah, 6 months, that's 2 quarters, and you've had the economy shrinking for 2 quarters. So these things, I think it's because unemployment's not gone up yet, and that's really when looking at that, you really have to look at what kind of jobs are being done, because they've said from a while back, a lot of it is gig economy, and a lot of it is gig economy, and it's not really as many people making it's not like full-time jobs, full-time jobs. So it's not the same thing as if you had 97% of people making enough to get by. It's obviously it's counting people working part-time. Someone might be working 8 hours a week, and that's that's going to be counted, but that obviously they're fucked. They ain't making shit. So it says an unemployment rate. So the expert predicted recession in country. Yeah, but plain as day. So it says GDP fell 0.9% and annualized pace for the period, according to the advanced estimate. That follows a 1.6% decline in the first quarter and was worse than the Dow Jones estimate for a gain of 0.3%. Officially, the National Bureau of Economic Research declares recessions and expansions unlikely won't make a judgment on the period in question for months, if not longer. But a second straight negative GDP reading meets a long-held basic view of recession, despite the unusual circumstances of the decline. And regardless of what NBER decides, GDP is the broadest measure of the economy and encompasses the total level of goods and services produced during a period. Yeah. It says what, we're not in recession, but it's clear the economy's growth is slowing, said Mark Zandi, chief economist at Moody's Analytics. The economy is close to stall speed, moving forward, but barely. Yeah. You know, these men are not trying to not trying to hear that in the slightest. You know, which ain't really surprising. This man done been in denial essentially. Because why? They're not trying to have you know, they ain't trying to have the mindset, people in the mindset that it's a recession, because obviously that, you know, people start bugging out. So it says markets reacted little to the news, with stocks slightly lower at the open. Government bond yields mostly declined, with the biggest drops at the short duration end of the curve. A separate report Thursday showed layoffs remain elevated. Initial jobless claims totaled 256,000 for the week ending July 23rd, a decline of 5,000 from an upwardly revised level the previous week, but higher than the Dow Jones estimate of 249,000. So yeah, it's, you know, the signs there. Everyone's like, nah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be calm, guys. It's gonna be calm. But that's, you know, that's that's a guy talking out of his arsehole. Because like they said, like the simple rule of thumb for recession, by that it's already a wrap. But you know, the show must go on. You know, people need their dreams to you know, to still seem to be possible, man. They need to still seem like, yeah, you know, there's hope. There's something to go out there and grind for, because that's basically the, you know, the bedrock of how this society runs. So it says Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord Jehovah's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Yeah, the nations are drunk. Everyone's drunk of the rose-clotted wine. So everyone's drunk. They're all caught up in this you know, this new economic system that Esau set up, that's got everyone, you know, thinking, what, chasing endless money. Like money's just gonna just keep spawning from the ether into their wallet. And that's, you know, that's the dream that everyone's caught up on. Everyone's out here thinking like, yeah, I could, you know, I would love. Everyone's out here desiring that never-ending money fountain, and that's a big part of what do you call it? That never-ending money tree. That's a big part of the appeal of Esau's kingdom. Like I said, it's you know, all the merchants, when they see it from afar off burning, they're gonna howl. Why? Because all the merchandise they did, all the money they were able to make. That's a big part of the draw of what gets these nations, you know, invested in this kingdom, in this system. So it says drunk as nations are mad. So it says Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. They would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Yeah. So it's basically it's to flip it on its head, to where it's like all that hope. It's everyone's gonna be like, nah, it's done. It's done. It's a wrap. Ain't gonna waste my time trying to engage. And that's what you're seeing. That, you know, with you get the same thing that's happened in the UK because post Brexit, man. All that shine, all that allure that was had for a while, it's gone in the bin. You know, Because why? All these nations are like, oh, actually, you know what? That same level of what's it called? Of appeal, that same level of a law, it's done. You know, all that so-called dream that was being sold, it ain't, you know, it ain't all that it's cracked up to be, man. And really, that, you know, they're gonna be forced. Well, they're gonna be trying to make that thing run for as long as possible, man. Job 14:5, it says, "Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou was appointed his bounds that he cannot pass." Yeah, that's the other thing is Esau's got a set time, and Esau ain't looking to mess with that. The heathen ain't looking to mess with that either. Whilst there's, you know, there's profits to be made, whilst there's capabilities for them to you know, to prop up the current lifestyle they have from interacting with what do you call it, with Esau's kingdom. They're not looking for that to end, but the bounds have been set, and that's really what you know, that's the biggest issue these guys have, man. Is they don't know that, well, prophecy's gone out, the word's gone out, man. The word's gone out from Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. As such, what? That, you know, it can't come back void. It's got to basically accomplish what it's been set up to do. And that's as real as it gets. It's gonna accomplish what it's gone out to do. And that means that, you know, the economic growth is gonna slow. You know, the economy is gonna tank. They're gonna have to bring in that mark. That's gonna be, you know, the draw. That's gonna be what essentially what's promoted, what's moved to as a new kind of economic system. Because why? It's prophecies of what Esau's gonna do, how he's basically gonna build up. Well, he's gonna try and build up his rule forever. But again, same with that. The bounds have been set. You can't pass it, man. And then Psalms 49:11, it says what? Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and that their dwelling places to all generations. They call lands after their own names. That's the thing. Is, you know, even the average peon, the average, you know, no name, what they call no name Edomite is out here thinking like, oh, you know, blah blah blah. We're gonna be able to, you know, we're gonna accomplish this. They've got, you know, hopes and dreams of things that they're gonna be looking to do in the future. These guys are thinking, okay, you know, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna blah blah blah. I'm like, my nigga, all those dreams, bro. That all these other heathens had dreams, man. These guys are having hella dreams. But, you know, what in reality, and that's the thing, is when it came to the time for judgment to come, for the end of that rulership, all that didn't mean shit. Babylonians got put on smash. You know, the Persians got put on smash. Greeks got put on smash. Romans got put on smash. All these different empires, different rulerships. When the time was set, they were done. It's the same thing with now. Because you see, especially with how this economic system set up over here, this thing is basically like a Frankenstein monster, man. It's running on fumes, and it's constructed in a way where that's something that can be done. Because it's not in any way a natural kind of system, man. It's a completely artificial kind of system that allows you know, tomfoolery to go down, essentially. And that's what, you know, that's why they're saying like, oh, even though they set that, you know, Esau's the one that set the markers, the definitions of a recession. Now he's like, oh, well, you know, it might not actually, you know, okay, so it's possible it's a recession. But, you know, it might, you know, we just need to, it's like, give me a fucking break, man. But yeah. I'll leave it there, man. Yeah, it's recession time. It's gonna be a peak winter, man. Shalom, Yabashim Yashab, Hashem Kalkadash Bakatam. Shalom.